Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me in another video. And this time we're going to look at the JarDesign, their latest and greatest A320 that was released less than 1 week ago. So it's brand new. This is the JarDesign 3.3R1 version, and it is an absolute pleasure to fly and to operate. It is a much improved model, much improved fly-by-wire system and flight model than before, and especially if you fly this model in 11.30 on the version that we've got right now is the RC2 of X-Plane, so it is an absolute pleasure to fly. It was designed for it. It is already fully compatible with it. It includes the particle system. It handles beautifully inside of ground effect, all things that have changed in X-Plane. So the guys are ready, and I can truly recommend this aircraft, especially at the price point where it is sold at. It's a steal. Now, the first and most important thing for me right now, apart from the Airbus itself, is just to thank Andre Nordheim for this wonderful livery that he made for me. All custom made and painted. What a fantastic job. Andre, you did very good here, my friend. Thank you very much. It looks awesome. It feels good to have my own personal livery, and I am really going to enjoy flying this on stream and even offline when I jump into this bus. It is magnificent. Thank you very much, Andre. Guys, if you are looking for another YouTube channel, reasonably small but dedicated, Andre's channel is called XP Aviator. Please go find it on YouTube and Twitch. I think he's mainly on YouTube nowadays, but it is available on both streams. Please go support Andre. It's well worth it. He's a great guy and a wonderful human being as well. Excellent friend. Thank you, Andre. Right, so I was thinking where to start with this video, and we obviously have two kinds of people that's going to watch the video. The first one is somebody that has owned the previous model, that might have loved it or might have hated it. Then you've got the people that have never seen the Airbus from JarDesign, and they are kind of curious and they might be interested in buying the product. I'm going to try and cater more for the people that have not seen the bus. Obviously, the guys that have owned the JarDesign will pick up on the differences as I move along in this video, and I hope that there is something that you see that might pique your interest to give it another go, another try if you have previously stopped using it. If you are new, I hope that you get enticed to at least give it a try and see for yourself. I'm going to point out a couple of obvious things. I'm going to also talk about the controller settings, and then I'll just leave it up to you guys. It's up to you whether you want to try it, but I sure hope that you guys are going to give it a try. So at the beginning, as you spawn into the aircraft and come and stand at a stand like this, one of the first things that you will obviously notice is this little thing at the top here. This is the JarDesign menu. I'm going to talk you through it. You've also got an FPS counter that shows you the current FPS in your sim. We can simply click on it to get rid of it, and we can click on it to bring it back. That's a very good indication of where you're standing. The JarDesign guys seem to have given us a green value for anything above 30 frames per second, and it goes red when it goes below 30. I think that should be an indication to you whether your rig is strong enough to handle the stresses that's going to be put on it because of this model. I have comfortably flown it down to about 20 frames, but below 20 frames it does get a bit tricky. So rather not go there, rather change your display settings a little bit to compensate. So let's just kill that one for now. Alright, what is impressive about this model also is it comes with its own tow truck, so you can call it and you can give it the relevant instructions. So you don't need better pushback. I personally prefer better pushback, but this is included for everybody that does not have the better pushback already. We then have control over the doors from this menu. If you own the ground handling deluxe, you do not necessarily have to use this, because if you call them and they drive up, it will open the doors for you. If you tell them to drive away, it will close the doors for you. But this is very handy in case something gets stuck, or if you want control. Lots of people want control over things, so there you have it. Alright, it then also comes with a checklist that is audible, that's going to tell you certain things. I don't personally use that. Maybe I'm just silly, but it's kind of not for me. But it's very nice for beginners, and it's very nice for experienced guys who just want that little bit more realism, so you can actually follow this checklist over there. Then this product also comes with its own ground handling equipment, so you can actually call the ground handling guys. You do not need to purchase the ground handling deluxe to use this aircraft. It comes pre-fitted with this model. On the bottom here, we've got the first screen. This is our actual loading screen where we load our passengers, cargo, and fuel. And we can then simply click on the plus and minus on either side to get more people in or more cargo in, or remove some. As you can see, it will give you a sum total of your payload value. It will also give you your center of gravity percentage, and then it will also tell you what your trim needs to be. In this model, JarDesign made it that when you program your MCDU properly, this value, whatever your trim value would be, will be set automatically for you. There is no need at some point in time to look down and actually set it. You can obviously look down to just check it, but it happens automatically. Alright, then in increments of 0.5, you can add or you can subtract fuel. For our purposes today, we're going to just fill it up to 3.5, because we're not going to really fly from point to point. It's probably just going to be a hand-flown circuit, which I've got in mind there. So when you are ready, you just click on the refuel button, and it obviously will change the values. Let me just add something, and then you can see fuel changes, and then we'll subtract it soon. So this will take care of the fuel for us. And once you are done, you can simply select the ground equipment button, and you will see that it disconnects and goes away. Very nice, very nice. Now, the moment you release the parking brake, all of these guys will disappear. So no matter where they stand, whether they're in front or behind or on the sides of the aircraft, when you release your parking brakes, they will go away. So for our purposes, let us now move on to the interior of the aircraft. Welcome to the cockpit, guys, and I just quickly changed the time of day in the simulator so that we don't have to fiddle with shadows and have to work around them. So first impression is this is the JAR cockpit. This is what it looks like. It is obviously custom made by the JAR guys, and everything is Airbus. I mean, it's where it's supposed to be. So you'll know, if you know an Airbus, where to find something, and obviously most of the buttons work. So let's move to our captain seat. When you spawn into the aircraft, everything is cold and dark. I'm sure it's because we fiddled with our ground equipment, but if the ground equipment was not called, here at the bottom would be a hot start button. So for the beginners and early adopters of the product, there is going to be a hot start button here at the bottom left, and you don't have to go through the whole procedure of startup. You just click it and it will light up and fire up. All engines go and basically be ready for a hand-flown flight. For our purposes, obviously, we call the ground equipment, and those guys are in place, and we are now going to have to use them. So we can switch on our ground power and our batteries. Alright, one of the things in the JarDesign is to always check the temperatures here. If you do not check it, let me actually leave it, you will hear the first officer complain that the cockpit gets too hot, obviously depending on ambient temperature in the atmosphere and all those things. What is the temperature here now? It's only 10. He might in fact not complain because it's not a very warm day, so let's just set it properly then from the beginning. Our lights, nav lights, beacon light, I'm just going to switch on already, and strobe we're going to put on auto. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right, then we have our runway turn-off lights, landing lights and taxi lights, and our wing lights as well. For the lighting inside of the cockpit, we have these controls over here. And this is just our emergency to on the emergency lights. Then we've got our no smoking sign, which we're just going to enable already. If you go into this view, you will see our IRS system at the top here, and that is fairly easy enough to get going. We just switch it on and we go to nav. Then we press our enter button. Right, so it tells us it's going to take 7 minutes to align the IRSs. We can switch our overhead radio on and make the necessary selection over there. Packs are off at this point in time. Alright, one of the nice things that I want to mention from the start is we've seen it in other aircraft models in X-Plane now, and as you put some wear and tear on your controllers, and with old age these little things don't necessarily want to go to the right place, and you might or might not struggle to get it there, then you need to get the second one. So one of the first very nice things that is new is there are now click spots. So you can click on the mode that you request and it will simply put your controllers in the right place. I just thought I'd add that in there just because we are here now. Alright, some other eye candy nice to haves is obviously these footrests that you have control over. We've got the trays like any other Airbus. Something that I really enjoy in the Airbus, and I have always with the JarDesign, is this little tool over here is actually working. Sorry guys, I'm not Airbus familiar in a way that I actually know what you call this, but this is where you can ask for your METARs for the departure and the arrival airports once you've programmed it into the MCDU. Guys, for everybody using Active Sky for X-Plane, this is not supported yet. I'm pretty sure JarDesign will fix it. Andre did mention to me, that's Andre Belov, that they can sure look into it, so he'll probably get either himself or the guys look at this very soon, so that we can actually use Active Sky with this tool as well. are now able to pop out. So we can click towards content and we don't have to necessarily zoom in. When you look at the model, you've got the little icons over there, the little blue arrows or cross, whatever you want to call it, will let you move your device around, and the X will obviously take it away, or you can just click on the main panel item again. Right, so I'm just entering our zero fuel weight and the block fuel there just to get something in there. We'll worry about the rest later. Alright, our radios are switched on and off with this little on-off switch over there, and obviously it just works like any other radio, guys. With Active Sky already loaded, we can also use our voice
Lima,
ATIS.
Papa, Romeo, airport information, Golf 0900 Zulu, weather, wind 121 at 11, visibility 10,000, sky clear, temperature 10, dew point 6, QNH 1027, advice on initial
1027. Alright, so we're going to look at that a little later on. One of the things that just popped into my mind is, obviously you can see there is nothing on these screens, and this was a very interesting thread to follow on one of the Facebook pages. Guys, everything is on, you just can't see it because you haven't tuned your switches to actually make it visible. You have to turn your little knobs to actually bring them up. The aircraft is obviously in a cold and dark state, and it is your responsibility to now make the screens visible with your given knobs. This little loudspeaker over here actually is very handy, especially for better pushback. This is where you can set the volume so that you don't get the better pushback guys actually screaming and shouting at you. So I think that was about my setting. We'll leave it there. In terms of all the light switches, they all work now. You can physically see they all add the lights when you move them. I'll move through all of them. Then another nice feature is you can actually switch off the reflections just by clicking in this click spot over here. We'll leave them off for now. Right, this knob over here will change the lights the back panel lights for you on your MCP over there, so you can see they will change. At the top here you need this little knob, and you need to set it to where you want it to be, and on the side you can also add your overhead lighting for the primary flight display and your navigational display. Then we've got a light switch over here which will give light in this area. Same goes for this one. And we now have light. Then also there's a light switch over here which will obviously light up your armrest panel over here. Okay, so same goes for this side. Some more lights. Right, then on the side here we have a little checklist, and we can zoom in and actually follow this if we would like to. You can just click on it to stow it again, so it all comes from the bottom over here. Alright, our next set of displays needs to be enabled over here. Just go back, and this is for the bottom one over there, and then we have the rest of the lights over here for our pedestal and for the floodlights in front, and then our overhead floodlight is over there, so we can just move that, switch it on over there. The doors actually lock, so now it's open. If we go look at the door, it's open. We can actually open and close it. If we lock this door, just get the right click spot, we cannot click there anymore, so it's closed. Alright, we'll keep it locked. Then our video actually works. If we click it twice, we can go to our screen and we can see who would bother us and want to come inside of the cockpit. There are other modes as well. If we click on it once more, it now changes and it shows us the cabin from the back. If we click it once more, we've got an empty cabin from the front, and I think the next one will switch it off again. True. Yes, now it's off, and if we click it again, we are back to our initial screen. Another piece of eye candy nice to have is the oxygen. There's nothing in there, but at least it opens. The block time timer works. You just have to set it in the right position. How did I get that moving? There we go. Alright, so that's our block time. It's enabled, and then we can set the normal timer by clicking on that little button over there as well when required. Alright. The terrain radar works perfectly, and if you will bear with me for 1 second, I'd like to show you something else. I'm just going to quickly load a custom weather profile in Active Sky for us quickly. Okay, so the weather profile that I needed to get going obviously includes rain. There is a moderate thunder shower in the area now, and I want you to check this. This is our weather radar, and we can switch it on and off. And what happens is, if we start to switch it on and then we move our tilt up, guess what we get? We've got a functioning weather radar. I didn't set the weather too harshly. The idea is obviously just to show you that it works, and that the tilt actually works. We can set it, let me zoom in a little bit. We can set it to show the weather, weather with turbulence, and then there's a map function as well. Weather and turbulence is fine for now, and there we go, all there. Fully functioning weather radar. I'm just going to switch the weather back to live weather. And we'll let it run its course. Alright, to clear our messages, all we have to do is click on clear over there, CLR, and that takes all of that away for us. The brake fans are functioning. So if you did a bit of a taxi or landed and had to brake hard, that is a very good idea to have that on. Welcome to the cabin, and obviously this has now been customized, and you'll see it's pretty much similar apart from the logos and the registration, but it's very similar to what JarDesign had in the basic system. So let's turn around a little bit. That is our cabin. I love the lighting. I love what they've done with it. I also obviously like what Andre did with my logo and customizing the seats over there. I've set up a few camera views, so let's quickly just jump. This is at the back. Galley at the back looks super cool. And we've obviously got the steps in place still, so that's fine by us. Let's go sit in the seat. Alright, there we also have a night vision camera. You can actually taxi from here if you want to. I haven't tried it, but it's there. It's night vision version, so it's kind of just a nice to have. Then I've set up a couple of nice wing views for us on the right, the left. We're using the CFM engines, not the big engines that it comes with by default. I'll show that to you when we get back to the cockpit, where you can change all the custom settings. So in order for us to customize the aircraft, all we need to do is we go to our menu, the MCDU menu. We can then change our engines. Let's go have a look again. Cabin. You see now we've got a different engine. These are the big boys. Let's quickly go have a look outside. So those are the other engines. We can then also change our wingtips. And as you can see, those are not the new wingtips anymore, it's just the old classic Airbus wingtips. We can change our sound volumes in here. HVAC can be switched on and off. There's a couple of other things. We can obviously change some of the textures into a darker or a lighter cockpit texture, and pause on top of descent, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. And we can also switch on the rain if we want the rain on the windows like before. So I just leave it on, it looks nice. So in terms of customizing the aircraft, that's where you do that. There's lots to do. If you're a repainter, there's obviously a lot of repaints that you can, a lot of work that you can do to get the repaint done and so on. I hope you share it with the community as well. And for all practical intents and purposes, that is the basics. Alright, the IRSs are fully aligned. So we're happy. There's nothing stopping us from actually programming a flight and doing a flight. Just before we actually start the flight, let us quickly ask these guys to drive away. We're going to leave ground power because we are dependent on that, and then we can close the doors. Alright, and as mentioned earlier, I just want to quickly change to a bit of a dark situation. Then let's get the lights going. So as you can see, the night lighting is done very nicely. Now back to our time. That's better for us. I'm going to start her up and also call for better pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I in fact don't know. Before we do that, let's escape. Just look at the meter. Let's quickly make sure. 120 at 10 knots. So we'll be taking off runway 17.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Stow is driving up.
And now we are ready to start our engines. So we put the ignition on.
Starting engine 1.
It's not really possible to set the flex temperature, but let's just take an educated guess and it won't complain. Remember, this is not a full flight. This is just me that's going to do a bit of a touch and go, so, or at least a circuit. The other thing I will have to check is the radios. We'll get there.
Starting engine 2.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Park brake on.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by. Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. And signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Flaps 1. Flaps 2. Spoilers arm.
Right, and there's the pin, so we can continue. Signs. Okay. So easy to forget those ones. Right, okay.
Park brake off.
Also, please make sure all cell phones and tablets are placed in airplane mode. And if you do have the Samsung Note 7, you please power these. I mean, no one should have this. They should have taken it away from you.
What I'll do is I'll just stop the video now until I am ready for the takeoff, because we need to do some back taxi and everything here, so I'll just kill it for now and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, guys. I completed the taxi, the turnaround after the backtrack and everything, so we're on the runway 17 at Porto and ready to go. But before we do that, I just want to quickly show you something. If you did not know this or did not know how to use this, let me show you how control profiles work. I'm obviously making use of the ProFlight yoke system from Cytec. It's been good to me. I do have the X52 joystick system as well. It's not connected, so it's irrelevant for us for now. But what is very important and relevant is if you look at the bottom here, we have active profiles. I have a couple that I can select from for the helicopter, the Flight Factor A320, single engine, twin engine, and my Zebo. What the active profile or the profile system in X-Plane allows you to do is you can have a controller profile per aircraft or per type of aircraft, and then you can fiddle with the controls per aircraft. If you do not use different profiles, it means that if you fly the helicopter, you have to go and set your controllers up for the specific model of aircraft you're flying, and then when you change to another aircraft, you have to redo the whole thing again. So in order not to waste time and to do it more professionally and better, they gave us the profile system. So all we're going to do now for the JarDesign is we're going to go to manage profiles. We're using the twin engines currently, but we want to personalize it. So what we're going to do is just click on it once so it's highlighted, click on create a new profile, and then we call it the JAR A320, and we click on done. So now we have an active profile of JAR 320. This can now be manipulated any which way we want to, and we're not going to influence any of the other controller profiles. What is very important to note now is we need to make sure that our control sensitivities are correct. This is the page that is going to turn you into a believer or a hater. And if you do not spend enough and appropriate time in setting up the control responses to match your controller, you're going to hate this aircraft. You cannot fly it in a one-size-fits-all configuration, either all that side or either this side or in the middle or in any other configuration other than the one that you have determined to be the best for this aircraft. It's a highly complex, highly advanced aircraft, and unfortunately it's on you to make your controllers match what JarDesign has created the aircraft to look for and to respond to. So this has taken me literally, and I'm not kidding, this has taken me the best part of a full work day. So you're talking 6, 7, 8 hours to figure this out. I flew circuit upon circuit upon circuit by hand to try and figure out what the best settings would be. Now, strangely enough, there is a difference between the flight models in X-Plane 11.30 and X-Plane 11.26. In 2.6, I have found that it's better to have 50% there and 50% there, and in X-Plane 11.30 it's different. So please take care of that. It's on you. This is not a JAR problem. This is a you problem that you need to take responsibility for. Lastly, the stability augmentation. Everything needs to be on 0. The moment anything happens on any one of these lines, you are interfering with the aircraft ACF file. You are augmenting something, changing something that JarDesign never intended for to happen. And also this is just going to be sabotage. I'd rather keep it off, and then you know that you're getting what JarDesign actually sold to you. Very important, guys. Alright, so we're on the jar profile, we know the sensitivities are right, and we click done. So here we are. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride with me.
Park brake off. Power set. Positive climb.
That wind is something that you can actually feel. I love that about the X-Plane. It's all alive. It's not as docile and too steady as some of the other sims I've flown. We're going to try and just keep runwaying until we hit about 1000. Trying is the operative word. Remember, everything is done by hand, nothing is done by autopilot. I'm not even going to pull in the gear, and I'm probably going to add some more flaps soon, just for helping me to fly this by hand. But it's very stable. It's a lovely aircraft to fly by hand, and it's very lively. I can tell you one thing, I've taken this into turbulence. There are one or two videos floating around on the internet, and there is one, in fact there might actually be two now on my YouTube channel as well, where I really struggled to land this, where the turbulence was just too much for me. It was incredible how lively this aircraft can be in certain weather conditions. So it's one of those things where I also had to fiddle a little bit with active sky, because I think some of the settings they have in there is just way over the top. One thing that I did discover afterwards is that I cannot simply switch between my two versions of X-Plane without telling Active Sky for X-Plane that I'm now looking at a different model. So if you go into your options, there is a place where you select the installation folder or installation path, and I have to continuously set that between the two X-Planes. If you leave that on one specific X-Plane model and you go to the next one, it's like it doesn't have control over the weather. And believe it or not, that is what happened in the other videos, and it took me a day or three to figure out that I have to actually tell Active Sky for X-Plane I'm now using a different version. So never mind if you have the XP Connect little plug-in and it actually talks and it puts weather, it doesn't control the weather if it's not pointed to the correct position, guys. So also look out for that little trick there. Alright, I've talked so much I never realized I was actually turning into shallow now, so I'm just going to turn a little bit back, just extend this downwind a little bit more. While we are here, we might as well enjoy some of the new particle system elements and some of the views. I'm not sure what happened to the smoke. It used to be white. Maybe I overwrote the little texture file somewhere. I'll have to check on that. See how far we at. Alright, let's give
Speed
some more
check.
flaps.
Flaps 3.
Some more power. Right, let's just check this 1099 171. I don't see a glide slope come up. Why is that? Let's just double check. Make sure we've got everything in here. 171. Maybe if we turn more directly onto the localizer, it will be better. So let's give it a shot. It might actually be off scale as well. But it happens when you talk too much. And if you turn too much, the people start screaming. Oh, there's our glide slope now. Yeah, cool. If you turn too much, the bank angle increases beyond the acceptable levels. Everybody goes crazy in the back. Good, let us see if we can maneuver in from here. There's our runway over there. This is live weather, by the way. This is not historical weather or homemade like the one I did earlier for the rain. So this is real time. Man, it's amazing when you can feel the wind and you can actually experience it like this. There's not even much, 8 knots, but you can feel it. You can see there's a bit of a grabbing going on.
1,000.
Approaching 17.
Thank you, Raz lady.
Speed check.
I forgot about the flaps. Goodness. Okay, so this will be a deep landing, but so what?
50, 40.
Oops, oops.
Long landing, 7,000.
Right, let's go around.
remaining.
That's better.
Speed check. Flaps 3. Speed check. Flaps 2. Speed check.
Let us
Flaps
rather
3.
go around.
5,000 remaining.
Alright, so I'm going to do the turnaround and I will restart the video on finals again. See you later. Welcome back, and we are trying to line up now for the next attempt, and I hope this time I've remembered everything. One other thing I forgot previously was our auto brake, so we have set it now to low auto brake. Ground spoilers are on, gear is down, and it's just another attempt, I suppose. Let's see. Keep the speed and that glide slope in the eye there. Not forget about that.
1,000.
Approaching 17.
$400, $300,
Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps.
Speed check. Flaps full.
$200, $100, 50, 40, 30, 20.
Spoilers full.
Alright, well, it's not perfect. It's not an auto land, but I'll take that. That was not a bad landing. The thing now is you have control, and depending on your settings in your yoke sensitivities, you should be able to land it reasonably. Just for the fun of it, I think
Flaps
what I'm
three,
going to do
flaps
is
two.
I'm just going to try again, because we can. And let's just see out of 3 attempts what we come up with. I'll see you on finals again. There is our outer marker. I have the runway visual. So, and this is attempt number 3. So the first one was a go around. The second one was a fair landing, and let's see if we can ace this one. Guys, as you can see, I'm not trying to be the world's superhero and try and show you only the best of the best. I'm also showing you that I'm just human. I'm just like you. I've got the same challenges. I also have good landings. I have bad landings. The wind all of a sudden is becoming a little bit more gusty. You can see the reading there on our navigational display. It's really playing up now, which it didn't do in the first attempt, or even as bad in the second attempt. So
1,000.
the thing with active sky, obviously, and the real world weather is that things change. So I'm going to take that into account. The wind seems to be blowing a little softer, so it's 5-6 knots, but the variation in the direction makes for a challenge. So let's have a look see. And again, this is a real live weather. It's not man-made. At about this speed, it should be like winds calm, but I can tell you one thing, Explain depicts it very well, or if it's active sky, I mean, you can still feel this an influence.
400, 300,
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Come on, come on.
Spoiler full.
That was a very soft landing. I could have kept the nose up a little bit longer, but I'll take that. I mean, that's usable, doable. Any virtual airline is going to accept that, and nobody can turn around and say there was any cheating. This is, you know, live, hands on the stick.
Flaps 2. Flaps 0.
100.
Okay, let's see what this looks like.
50. 40. 30. 20.
I never noticed the landing rate before, but I saw that was 65,
Flaps 0.
which is really not bad. It's a bit soft actually, to be quite honest.
Flaps full.
But when you're busy doing that landing and you're concentrating on doing it for a video and stuff, you know, you want to make it look good and feel good. So anyway, only defense I have, guys. Like I said, I'm just another guy. I'm not somebody special, not a superhero on landing. Let's have a look, see from the passenger side.
100.
See what this looks like.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Alright, so looks very nice. No animations in replay at this time for our spoiler, so unfortunately that's just something we're not going to see right now. Other than that, I'm happy. The aircraft switched off now. That's because of all the replays and stuff. Well guys, that is about it for this video. I really hope that you guys saw something that you liked. I really hope that guys who have previously disliked the product might find new value in it. I hope that your curiosity is tickled enough that you go and re-download your old purchase or consider purchasing now. This is truly a remarkable little aircraft, and for the price point where it's priced at, it's a steal in my book. It really is a wonderful product. I sincerely hope that you will be fair and that you will use actual facts when you talk about it and not just a whole bunch of hype and nonsense and talk after the Joneses or whoever else started what rumor. So from my side guys, really I'm enjoying this aircraft and it was a pleasure doing this video for you guys. Until we meet again, safe flights, blue skies and all the other things. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.